Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be doing my VCT EMEA Week 5 power rankings and predictions. I'm going to be going through all 11 teams, ranking them into these 5 tiers, and then going through every game this week and predicting who I think will win. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Always interested to see what people think about these lists and predictions and everything like that. Also, leave a like and subscribe if you enjoy it. I do these every week. Obviously, it'll stop being like as much power ranking oriented and more prediction focused as we get into Shanghai. Obviously, we'll do like playoff predictions and everything like that, then Shanghai power rankings and everything like that. But until we get there, I don't think I'm going to do another EMEA power ranking. So yeah, still stay tuned for that. I'll be doing this all again for Split 2. If you've been here throughout all of Split 1, thank you. Also, go check out my Twitter. Link is in the description. I do player rankings every week for all 3 major regions, I guess, in EMEA, Americas, and Pacific. I don't like calling them major regions, but I think it's fair to say that, I guess, in my opinion, especially when China hasn't really done much at an international level this year. And then go follow my Twitch. Link is also in the description. I do VOD reviews sometimes. I probably should be doing it right now, but I need to record this video. So yeah, let's get right into it. All right. And we'll start off here at the bad tier, where it doesn't feel great having Koi at the bottom here, but I'm going to keep them here just because they haven't shown enough to kind of prove that they're out of this last spot. And also, I do think there's some teams that have shown some nice stuff ahead of them. Obviously, they did look kind of okay against Karmine Corps this week. I do think there's something to be said about like the pressure element for them, because this game did not matter for them against KC, and that was the game they've played by far the best in since kickoff. So I think you could take something there from that. But overall, like, it still wasn't great, and yeah, they've only showed it once, so I'm going to keep them in this bad tier. Then I have Giants actually coming down here. And honestly, I think this was more so about other teams maybe proving themselves ahead of them, like maybe your BBLs, your Gentlemates kind of thing, where like I had them in a tier with Liquid, and I do think they've dropped down from that, but overall, I still don't think they're they're not good at all. Like, they were improving every week, and then I feel like they kind of taken a step back after that against Vitality. Now, they did take a map and everything, so you can judge that how you will, but I do think Vitality did some like late round trolling and stuff in those games, that in rounds that they should have won. So that was kind of annoying for me as somebody who is very high on Vitality. But overall, I mean, I don't think Giants played that well in that game. They played fine, but that's at least for their standard. And I just, comparatively to the rest of EMEA, I do think they are a bad team. Then we'll move on to the broken tier here, since it's just one team. We got Liquid. I think the tier name kind of speaks for itself. I think this team just needs to make a change. I don't know where it is. It's probably at IGL with Enzo. Because I do believe in all the other pieces. I say this every week. I believe in all of that. It's just the IGL slot that I don't think this team can like get over the hump with, which isn't ideal, because if you remove your IGL, then you kind of have to rebuild everything heading into the next split, which is not ideal for a team. So they're in a really bad spot. I think they'll probably just stick it out the rest of the year with this roster, which doesn't feel great if you're a Liquid fan, but I think it's what they got to do. Then into the frisky tier here, where again, I only have one team, but it's Gentlemates. They switched back to more normal comps this week, and they looked very good. Like, they put in a very good ante against Team Vitality. So I also think there's a good chance they make playoffs. I don't know exactly the scenarios of how things work out or who they even play, honestly. I'd have to go look at that right now, which I am doing. They play Liquid, so they actually have a good chance of making it in if they win. Yeah, they just have to beat out Heretics on map diff, I believe, if they win. And Heretics has to play Karmine Corps as well, and they have to win as well. So it gets weird in EMEA, because this region is, as the second tier is called here, this region is fucked. But overall, I think the individuals looked really nice for Gentlemates, as I've said for them. I think the thing that I missed was just the comps are not good enough to get upsets over the top teams. So they changed them back, and they actually looked really good as individuals and as a team. I think the fundamentals looked a lot better, and I think they should really just stick with these normal comps. I also think I'll talk about it a little bit later, but I do think playing normal comps kind of caught Vitality off guard in that game, which kind of helped them win. So I'd like to see how they look in the future. I do think they will beat Liquid. I'll say that. Uh, but yeah, I don't know. I don't think this team's like making Shanghai or anything. I'll say that, but like they can do some things in EMEA, as I've said, for a lot of this season. All right, now into this tier that I have titled "This Region is Fucked." I mean, I had no idea how to order this tier, or even the remaining 7 teams here. But we're gonna start at number 7 with Fnatic. I think I was too early to jump back on the train with this team. They did look really good the weeks that they played against some of those more lower level teams. But I think I just needed, if I was going to put them into the top tier, I needed to wait one more week to do that, which I did not do. I put them at number 2 last week because I really just thought that they were far better than every other team. Now, some of it did have to do with the other teams not looking as good rather than them looking good themselves. But man, this team is in a bad spot. Like, I gotta go look at the standings again. Like, are they even? Yeah, they play Navi, and if they lose and Vitality win, then they're out. I believe. I think that's how that works. That could just be completely false, and I could just be lying to you all. But man, like, they're trying to be too creative sometimes. Like, you want them to play these more like newer meta comps, like the Breeze comp that they're playing, which has this solo Yoru duelist. I think they should play more stuff like that and less stuff like their split comp that they clearly just have no idea how to play. Um, I also don't like the roles on that map, which is an entirely different thing. Like, Chronicle is not good on the Cypher. I really don't understand why he's on that and not on the Raze, because he played that for Gambit at times. But that's just me. I don't know. And yeah, I don't know. This team is just broken, I think, right now. And they need to find some way to fix it. And I don't know how, honestly. Like, maybe going back to more default comps. Like, I mean, their split comp's weird. I think their Lotus comp, they've just gotten readable on that map, honestly. And overall, like, I don't know how you can't beat the no initiator on Lotus when you were one of the best Lotus teams in the world last year. But yeah. Again, just a broken team, but they're better than Liquid, obviously. So this isn't like, I don't. One thing that I think people get confused sometimes is I rank the teams into the tiers and then I name the tiers after. That's how you get this region is fucked tier. So yeah, I don't know. Fnatic, again, a weird team to rank because you know it's in there with this team. You know they can look like one of the best teams in the world. They just got to prove it, and they just got to fix the shit they got going on, which I don't know what it is, honestly. Then we have Carmine Core up next, who, again, are in a really weird spot. Like, they have to beat Heretics to confirm making it through. And even then, I'm not sure that confirms. I I don't know any of the EMEA scenarios. All I've seen is the Pacific ones and the Americas ones, obviously, that are getting posted everywhere because of Sen. But yeah, just they look so, eh. And I think a lot of it has to do with the mid rounding in this team. Part of me wants to put all of the blame onto Magnum because he is the IGL. He should be the one mid rounding. But when you see these top teams from even just within EMEA, like Fnatic last year, they had vocal players and players like Leo and players like Chronicle, I believe. Like, I think every player on the team was pretty vocal. But like you had teams like NRG last year who were pretty good, who were vocal. You had EG with Boostio, Ethan, who's in IGL now. Now, frankly, he's not that good at IGLing, but he's still in IGL, which means they had some faith in how vocal he is. And I don't think Magnum has any help here being the IGL on a team with a bunch of, frankly, rookies heading into the year here. Now, obviously, it isn't good, and that's his job to do it. So, like, you put a majority of the blame onto him, but also some of these other players need to step up, I think, in the mid rounding as well, and really help Magnum actually do his job better. But I don't know. Just again, a team that could, in theory, make Shanghai, and I still believe that they can because of their run in kickoff and even at not at Shanghai, at what was the fucking tournament called? At Madrid, where yeah, they went out in groups, but they still looked good in most of the games they played. And yeah, just again, a team in a very weird spot, which will happen over and over again with every team in every region in these power rankings, where I just have no idea where to rank half these teams. So I don't know. Then moving on to BBL, who honestly I don't feel good ranking this high. And maybe that's just because I'm a doubter. But like the last 3 weeks, they've beaten Koi, they've beaten Heretics, who looked like absolute dog shit in that game. Like I don't think that was BBL beating Heretics. I think that was Heretics losing to BBL, if that makes sense. Um, and yeah, I don't know. That game was weird. And then this Navi game, I don't I I watched it. I don't get it. I don't get how it wasn't remotely close. I do think Navi did some trolling, as they do. There's a reason why I don't have BBL ahead of them, but I do really think the firepower here is coming together. Like Brave looked really good in that game. I mean, he looked really, really good. Elite always looks good. Reezy, I think, always looks good, even though he did bottom frag that series. I think Kushner always looks fine, and Pora as an individual hits some shots. So overall, like they do look pretty good, but it's again, it's just not a team that I'm trusting to win in playoffs at all. That's why I have them fifth, but I do think you can say that they are better than Carmine Core and Fnatic. I really flip flopped with having them last and having them first in this tier, but I wouldn't have them any higher than fifth personally, just because I think over the course of the season, these other four teams ahead of them have proved more. All right. Now we're in a different day. Now we're doing our top teams tier here. Starting with Navi, who lost to BBL this week. I did consider dropping them down a tier here into this region as fuck tier, but honestly, like I think that would fit the tier description a little bit better if they were in that tier, but also I had them as my number one team the whole split up until this point. So I think it'd be kind of disingenuous to drop them out of this top tier. Despite not playing very well last week, I think there was some interesting stuff. Like, I mean, Shao just is not good on smokes. I really think they need to change that back with him on initiator and Angel on smokes. Maybe it makes Angel call worse, but honestly, it really isn't. It really can't be that much worse now. Um, like some of the decisions from Angel were very interesting. Like I remember Sliggy talked about it on Plat Chat, but they like barely ever worked mid on Sunset. Maybe he was talking about Ascent, but I really disagree with that. If he was talking about that, I don't remember. Um, and then Split was just, eh, I don't know. It just sucked. That was an all around just terrible game from them. Obviously, Ascent was good as it usually is for them, but you hope that they'll get back and look better, and I think they will. But I don't know. It's very weird with this team again, as it is with a lot of other teams. Then did not mean to right click. We have Heretics, who looked amazing this week with Woot. Now, I still think I have questions about the calling, like the mid rounding from Boo. because I never thought it was all that great to begin with, and then there's been some really horrendous games in here, and I don't think it was even that good against Liquid. I think it was a lot of individual stuff kind of carrying them through that game. So you hope that gets better. I also still want to see what their comps are on maps like Lotus, where Patitek was playing the Viper. I want to see if Woot can play that to a high level, or if Rienz picks it up or something like that. I could see that going either way, but I wouldn't love Woot on that role personally. I do think he played very well on the Sky and KO, like or individually, and honestly on the KO his flashes were pretty good as well. So overall, a lot of doubts were, um, I don't know what the word would be, but like a lot of my doubts are gone with this team. I just think there's a few more things that they need to prove before I have them as the top team in EMEA, but they're getting there. Also, it's 1 week with one game with this new roster, so I'm not going to immediately crown them, you know? Then we have Vitality, which, yes, I know. I know they lost to Gentlemates. As I said before, I do really think they got caught off guard by Gentlemates playing more normal comps on the two maps that they played. Now they still didn't play good. They were just not hitting that day. They were making some questionable decisions at times. I think a lot of it was fixed against Giants. Lotus was kind of eh. They've multiple times now just played Lotus, and their individual decision making was weird. Like the other two maps, there was no issues. I don't think personally. I mean, there were obviously like small mistakes, but that's not relevant to my point. Like Lotus, there were so many times where they're like in a late round and they were going to try to make a play or something like a man disadvantage scenario, and one person would swing one area and another person would swing another area, and I feel like that's just not the best way to play that. Um, and it leads them to them losing a lot of those late round scenarios, which they did against Giants on that Lotus map. But overall, I do still think this team looks good. I still think they're improving, and I would have them over Vitality, over Heretics and Navi at this point. Then at number one, we have Foot. I think the unquestioned number one team at this point. Let's see, let's make sure I got this right. They've beaten Fnatic, they've beaten Karmine Core, they've barely lost to Vitality. I don't know what more you want from this team. They'll play against BBL this week in the Turkish Bowl. I do think it's very, very possible they win that game. Um, and I just don't think it's questionable right now. I think you have the best duelist in EMEA and CNED. I think you have the best smokes player. I think you have probably right now, in terms of just this split, the best performing IGL in terms of just calling and everything like that. I think you can argue that Angel's up there. You can argue that Boaster's up there. You can argue that Sender's up there. But a lot of the other top teams don't have great calling, like Heretics and Karmine Core. So, and I mean, I guess BBL you could argue, but the beginning of the season was bad for them, so I wouldn't agree with that. Um, and yeah, I mean, just even though this team does run some weird shit, it works and it works for them. So they are my top team in EMEA. Now moving on to my predictions. All right, now we got my predictions, starting with BBL Giants. I think I got to take BBL in this one. I mean, the past couple weeks have just been really good from this team. Like I think a lot of the fundamentals are extremely good. They're shooting really well, and I think that Giants are really the opposite of that. Like I don't think BBL are doing anything incredible with their macro. I mean, neither are Giants, but I think they're trying a little bit harder to innovate and do more shit, I guess, on the map, which kind of in turn makes them worse. I think BBL is just trying to keep it simple, shoot their guns, and call a decent mid round most rounds, and that's what they do. That's why I don't have them that high in my power rankings. But right now, I really just favor them over Giants, where I just don't think Giants are in a very good spot at all. Then Karmine Core Heretics. I mean, this game could end up being spaghetti. With the two IGLs who I don't think are very good, and like some of the young players here in this big of a game, I really don't know who I would favor right now, but I think right now, in terms of individual form, that I trust Heretics just that little bit more. With Miniboo, with Woot, over I would take both of those over any Karmine Core player, honestly. Even Narrate, who I think has been making some confusing mistakes, honestly, at some points, despite being an insane individual. I'd still take those two over him very, very minimally right now, but I still would. Maybe not Woot. Definitely Mini Boo, but Woot is close. But I would definitely take Mini Boo. Then Vitality Koi. I'm gonna pick Vitality. Not too much to really talk about there. Then Navi Fnatic. I think this is the biggest game of the week in terms of just expectations for both these teams. If Fnatic lose, I think they're pretty much out. I could be wrong. I think not. If Navi lose, it's likely that they're out, but it's not like confirmed at all. And for me personally, I do favor Navi a little bit more. I just think Fnatic is trying to do a little bit too much right now and make it a little bit too complicated for their great individual players, that even if you favor the individual talent on Fnatic over Navi, which I don't, I think you would still have to take Navi here just because of all of the like comp stuff, which honestly, if you were talking about a team getting comp diffed, you would not think it would be Fnatic against Navi. But overall, I just think Navi is just the slightly better team at this point, but again, I could see this going either way. Then Liquid Gentlemates. I mean, this game could be spaghetti as well. Personally, like, I don't think Liquid's been playing that well as of late, and Gentlemates just had one win against a decent team. Their other win is against BBL when they were playing like dog shit, and they've gotten, I think, stomped by Karmine Core and Fnatic back-to-back weeks before this. But also, like, do you favor the individual talent on Gentlemates over Liquid? Because personally, I think I would. At least their current form right now. So I am going to take Gentlemates in this game. It's, again, very close, but I just do slightly favor them. And then I'm going to take Foot over BBL. I'm going to take my number one team in the league to win their game. I mean, I could see BBL winning this because they've beaten Na'Vi and Heretics back-to-back weeks. But also, I could just see BBL kind of flopping and getting destroyed in this game. So there's two ends of the spectrum there, but overall, a lot of close games this week. Very big week for EMEA being the last week of the season and everything like that. But let me know what you guys think of the predictions in the comments below and the power rankings. I will be doing my bet at predictions right now after this, and I'll explain what that is in 1 second. All right, so the bets we're going to make this week, I'm going to take Heretics over Koi. I'm going to bet 800, or not Heretics, Vitality, sorry. I'm going to take Vitality over Koi. Then, I mean, if it'll load, what's my computer doing? Then I'm going to take Foot over BBL for 350, I think. Pretty self-explanatory. That's my number one team against a team that I think might be a little bit overrated in my power rankings, but they've been winning, so that's why I have them in there. Then I'm going to take Gentlemates for 300 over Liquid. I've started betting more based on my predictions, and it's worked out better, so might as well do that. Then I'm going to have 200 on both BBL Giants, on BBL to beat Giants, and on Na'Vi to beat Fnatic. Yeah. I'll fill this out real quick. 200. There we go. And I guess to make it a nice even number, I'll put 99 on Heretics. Just for fun. Just so this is a nice even number up here. So yeah, these are my bets this week. Let me know what you guys think of all my predictions in the comments below. Always interested to hear what people think. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.